So, you know, my father, he immigrated from Jalisco, Mexico when he was 18 years old, and so he worked in the orchards of Hood River, Oregon, and then he met my mother, who was also doing seasonal farm work that had migrated from California. And so because they continued to work in seasonal farm work while we were growing up, we were obviously a part of that culture, and so we were exposed at a young age to community health centers and grew up actually going to community health centers. And so that really turned us on to not only, for us, there wasn't, at that point, we didn't really know there was any other kind of medicine to go into. Well, we knew we wanted to be physicians, and it was just natural for us to go into that kind of medicine because that's what we had always For me, it's been more. I see medicine as more than just my job or career. I see it somewhat as a mission. I think that all of us have somewhat of a responsibility to improve the lives of people. I think that if we're well and we're healthy, and so I see it somewhat as a mission, and I take that even in a kind of in my own spiritual way. Sometimes when I'm getting really frustrated with the day-to-day things, I think, okay, there's a greater purpose. Mm-hmm. And so for me, it's been more. I started out saying I wanted to be a nurse. I was 4, and mm-hmm. I really always tell people that my reasons were simple. I wanted to help people. But then as I got older, I kind of started defining what that meant, and I realized that I wanted to specifically help the people that were in our community through health. And at one point, as when we were growing up, because we were bilingual, we were always oftentimes asked to be the interpreters for many of our family members. And I remember sitting at an office visit one time thinking that wouldn't it be nice if I could be the doctor? I think that would really probably enhance the care, and rather than being an interpreter or a nurse, although very important roles, I thought being the doctor and being the person who was actually providing the treatment would be a really effective mm-hmm. way to help the community, and that's when I decided I wanted to be a doctor. So I think we were about 13.
Right, and as she mentioned, that is right. I think for some reason I changed what I wanted to be quite a few times. But I think I remember at 4 or 5 years old saying that she wanted to be in the medical field, and then I later on, probably when I was about 9 or 10, decided that that's what I wanted to do. And I think that as I was stating, that what really turned us on to that is the fact that we were going with our family members oftentimes to these office visits, and we were serving as translators, and so we were seeing the need, but not realizing at that point that the need was more than translation. But as we developed and as we grew up and started volunteering in other areas, like at the health department and the hospital, understanding that, wow, the need for translation is just the tip of the iceberg, and that there's so much more, and wanting to be a part of a solution to this bigger